currently on.
Yeah, they're still going.
Heathen DriveBYE. It does not show.
Now I just started it. Hey, how y'all doing, everybody? Welcome to the Heathen Drive-By. Today it's going to be a great show. We got They from the channel They. I don't even know how to really say that. It's kind of funky, but but They is here.
They is here. It's like the grammar just spits in your face.
Ah, geez, I got my. Hold on a second here, guys. I goofed everything up. It's all ruined.
You goofed everything up and it's all ruined.
Now I just started.
Oh, I see. It's.
Yeah, I'm repeating here. Ah, man.
What did you do?
Now though.
What did you do to break it, Johnny?
Ah, there we go.
Gotta say, it doesn't seem broken on my end.
I had to find the window that was open that was doing that and repeating. But anyway,
fair enough.
I got They here, and Cirrus is going to be co-hosting with me, and They has a channel that busts conspiracy theories, and it is a great channel. I highly recommend going to subscribe to it. And how are you doing, Cirrus?
I am doing pretty well, and I'm incredibly confused because They only has 90 or 79 subscribers at the time we're starting this, and that's incredibly confusing to me.
that should not be. And They, how are you today?
Well, I am doing wonderful. Thank you for the awesome introduction. And as to the subscribers, well, hopefully I get more. But you know, I guess not everybody can handle the truth.
Yeah, sometimes that's the case. Sometimes it's just a matter of marketing. There might be like that one little thing that you overlooked that prevented it from exploding. You never know.
Well, I've only been creating content now for a few months, so that's probably the actual reason. No need to jump straight to a conspiracy theory, right?
That's fair. I've only been at it for about 3 months myself, and I'm sitting at just over 700 now.
Well, and I also don't really produce that much, just here and there, you know.
The algorithms, I think they really like to have a schedule kind of a thing for it to pump your videos out to get more subscribers. That seems to be the case anyway.
Yeah, especially since from what I'm seeing on your channel, it says that you've got pretty much like releasing one a month is about what seems to be the norm for you right now.
Yeah, that's about right.
Yeah, and that's unfortunately the YouTube algorithm doesn't incorporate people's real lives into the conundrum.
No.
It's just like, man, you couldn't upload this week because you had a kid? Damn. You're boned.
Yeah, you gotta kind of make up your own schedule or whatever for it to actually be in the competitive side of it is probably the way to say it.
Yeah, I've been doing my damnedest to keep up with 2 uploads a week, but sometimes it's almost not possible sometimes.
I'm working on one video right now, but it's gonna take a while for me. But anyway, what did make you decide to get into making videos there?
Well, I've always been a skeptic, and I've been on YouTube for a very long time. And honestly, my inspiration came from Cool Hard Logic, and I've always really liked his style. And I've even been accused in my comment section of being too much like him, but I actually consider that a compliment. But either way, I originally made this account to kind of troll people a little bit, if you will, and just have some fun with the name. And then push came to shove, and I decided to start making videos due to one comment on Cool Hard Logic. Excuse me, on a Cool Hard Logic video where I basically took credit for one of his World of Batshit videos. I took credit for the conspiracy, and we wound up with a microwave emitting nano targeting analog laser, which you know. So I took credit for that, and then there was a little bit of exchange back and forth, a couple of emails between Cool Hard Logic and I, and decided to start making videos, and here we are.
Hey, sometimes that's all it takes. You got somebody who inspired you, and then you talk to them and said, maybe I can do this.
Pretty much.
Yeah, that's not unlike what happened with me. I was listening to people like Holy Kool-Aid and Cosmic Skeptic, and then like when I stumbled on Godless Cranium and Vice Rhino, I was like, wait a minute, that's a format I could do.
Oh yeah, I mean everybody basically gets some inspiration from somewhere, and all of those channels they're wonderful. I mean I think we're all pretty much subscribed to the same people.
Yeah, that seems to be the case within the skeptic community. And anytime that there's somebody who's smaller and needs more subscribers who still like fits the criteria, they make the same type of content. We usually have people like Shannon and Don who try their damnedest to like get them shouted out on Twitter and get people directed over to their channels. That's what happened with me, and that's what's happening with Skeptic Pork and Atheistic Snail right now.
Yeah, I've been to both channels. Really good stuff.
Oh yeah. I have this problem anytime that I'm listening to Skeptic Pork's channel. Whenever he begins, I find myself trying to mimic his accent, which I know is like it's a little insulting sometimes, because sometimes when you try to mimic another nationality's accent, it is considered insulting. But for me, I'm just like, but it's so fun to say, "Hello, I'm a Skeptic Pork."
I don't know. Personally, I find it pretty funny when people from the UK or Australia do redneck American accent. I find that to be pretty damn funny.
Like Rick Grimes from The Walking Dead.
Yeah, exactly.
Like his actual voice sounds nothing like how he sounds on The Walking Dead at all.
Why do you think that a conspiracy series form anyway? Is it? I remember reading something about a while back that conspiracy theory kind of came up with the CIA created that term at one point or whatever, like in the 60s or the 50s maybe.
Well, as far as the terminology is concerned, I couldn't really tell you for sure where it came from. I actually have not read into that, but I can tell you a little bit. It'll need a little bit of a caveat on it, but basically the information that I have on it needs to be preluded with the fact that I am definitely not an expert, because it all falls into the realm of psychology and behavioral and social psychology and a lot of things like that. But more or less, from everything that I can discern, there is more or less a lot that we can blame on the human condition for it. Humans need to have an understanding of the world around them before everything falls apart. You need to understand the way things work. It's actually part of the way that we evolved, and part of that evolution is that we need to be able to discern complex patterns. And complex pattern, basically the ability to discern and recognize complex patterns allowed us to be able to discern things of, being able to find where the animals were to hunt, where to, very obvious basic survival things. But what that has turned into in our day and age is that there is a cognitive failure with humans, and it doesn't occur with all of us, obviously. And there has been a ton of studies. I could link all the studies that I read, but it would be a long friggin' list surrounding one particular thing called an illusory pattern perception. And what that is it's basically when people find things that are not related and they draw a pattern in between them. It lends to things like irrational beliefs. They don't understand and they're not able to discern why random stimuli are not related. So they put things together like, in my most recent video, the contrails and the spraying of chemicals and demons. I mean, how friggin' random is that, right?
Yeah.
Demonic portals that are patched up with electrical tape.
You can spray it with vinegar.
Yeah.
I think the electrical tape thing is pretty good.
I mean, I put electrical tape on everything, and I haven't seen a demon yet. So, you know, hey.
That's proof right there.
All that confirmation bias.
So the thing is that the cognitive dissonance, the illusory pattern perception, it all kind of lends into it kind of lends into geez, how can I explain this? This is it's a dissonance thing that it just people they correlate into full nonsense, and you know that's exactly what you're going to get. Basically, when the brain fails in that respect, you have nonsense correlations, and what comes out is complete nonsense. But another part of our instinctiveness is to stick to decisions. Because it's obviously, you know, from an evolutionary perspective, it's better for your survival if you stick with something rather than stand there indecisive. You know what I mean? So basically, we have two primal instincts that are fueling this cognitive dissonance. And then you go beyond that and you get into, you know, behavioral psychology and social interaction. And then you couple those two things with a little Dunning-Kruger effect, and you get people that think they're right when they couldn't be more wrong. And they get kind of, you know, they get a little bit of a high out of being the leaders of these ridiculous movements that, or maybe they're compensating for something lacking in their lives, perhaps even themselves. But I think that's part of where conspiracy theories actually form.
I think it's also not unlike what we have with religion, where even though something is a total non sequitur, it doesn't logically follow, people will still connect those dots regardless, just because that's what we're programmed to do.
Yeah, actually, I 100% agree with that. The thing is that conspiracy theories and well, I just like to classify it all under illogical belief, but you know that encompasses conspiracy theories, belief in the paranormal, religion, and not all religion, because I mean there's still plenty of people out there that are religious that are also capable of thinking. I don't know how that occurs, but I know that it does. So I kind of encompass it all under illogical thought.
Well, with religion in particular, because it's something that we're grown up with. So typically, with a conspiracy theory, you have to be sort of introduced to it 9 times out of 10. It's not something that you grow up with unless your parents happen to be conspiracy theorists, and then, you know, the rabbit hole is where you were born.
Oh, dear.
But with religion, you typically grow up with that as a belief. That's something that's given to you very early on. And the human mind has this wonderful ability to compartmentalize data. It's one of the reasons why we're able to survive. It's one of our mind's defense mechanisms whenever we take serious trauma, is we can compartmentalize the trauma away, and then our regular everyday life is sitting in a complete different compartment, and we access that compartment at all times. But that trauma, it doesn't really go away. It's still there. It's just in a different compartment. That's why you get someone with PTSD. Their brain is now accessing that compartment that has all that trauma, that has all that data, and it all suddenly starts flooding back. I think religion's really not much different. There's a compartment for religion and then a compartment for logical thought. And sometimes the two cross. That's when you get like apologists like William Lane Craig. Sometimes you can get the two to cross. Most of the time, though, they are two separate compartments. With conspiracy theories, I don't think it's much different. You've got the compartment for reality and the compartment for the conspiracy theory, And your huge problem, though, is when the conspiracy theory and the reality compartments try to crossbreed. And then you get people who question everything, but even the answers that they get when they're 100% legitimately right, they then question those answers further to the point where they can't function.
That's an interesting point. I mean, that's definitely is going to lend to a lot of cognitive dissonance for absolutely sure. But I mean, what do you think, though? I mean, I really, believe it or not, I don't really see that much difference from my perspective in conspiracy theories and religion, apart from the level of apart from, you know, just religion being much more commonplace in today's society. They seem like the same sort of mental disorder.
I think you're right there, though I wouldn't necessarily call it a mental disorder. I would just say that it's taking something too far. For instance, there are some conspiracies that did in fact happen, like the sinking of the Lusitania. We know now that that was something that the United States did in fact do. There are some things every once in a while where the conspiracy theorists are actually right. Now, granted, my problem is that it's like 1% hits and 99% misses, and so I still don't buy into it, because if it were medicine that only had a 1% chance of working, I wouldn't buy into it either. So why would I do it with logic? But I do think that you're right, that they are almost no different, except for the fact that one is incredibly commonplace and one is not. And I think that just has to do with culture. Because we have a culture that teaches religion, but it doesn't necessarily teach conspiracy theory. Because in our culture, it's a whole lot easier to control somebody who's a statist, for instance. Not that I think that statism is a good thing, but it's a whole lot easier to have somebody like that in a country than having a bunch of people who are conspiracy theorists. Even with the few times that the conspiracy ends up being right. So I think you are right that it just comes down to what they're born with, and that's really the only difference between the two.
Fair enough. I guess even a blind squirrel finds a nut now and then.
Yeah. That happens every once in a while, but again, just because the blind squirrel found the nut once doesn't mean you're going to rely on the blind squirrel to feed you.
Hell no.
I might get him to do the dishes, but
what's up?
I might get him to do the dishes, but that's about it.
I don't think I would trust him with the dishes, sir. Have you seen squirrels? They're pranksters.
Plastic?
No.
Yeah. They are nuts.
And I guess it does follow, though, that there are some things like how the Federal Reserve functions. Most of the conversation about that is almost exclusively on the conspiracy theorist side. And even though most of it's correct, it doesn't justify the 99 other conspiracy theories that are obviously false.
No.
Well, without a doubt. I mean, there's, I think that there's another topic that goes along with that, and honestly, I don't want to get Johnny off track. I know that he had questions, but yeah, there is definitely a part that goes with that.
See, I wasn't even aware that Johnny had questions. This is news to me.
I've got all the answers. No.
You've got all the... Oh, okay. So you're the conspiracy... I knew you were a reptilian.
Well, it's not really reptilian. It's actually a different species that you've never heard of. So,
but I've never heard... Okay, so do I have to get logic to figure this one out?
Yeah, doesn't fit any category. It's got some kind. It's one of them kinds.
It's a kind?
Yeah.
Oh, so I need to get Kent Hovind to help.
Yeah, call him up.
Jesus
yeah, I'll call him
Christ.
up. I'll ask him to define a kind first, though, and then he'll hang up.
How do you think that conspiracy theory actually gains any traction, though, at all when somebody brings it up? Because it does seem like you have to be in that mindset, though. I mean, do people fall from the fear of it, or what do you really think happens with that?
Well, I think a lot of this has to do with social interaction and behavior, because people will definitely seek some sort of a knowledge or information that gives them some sort of a special advantage or makes them feel special. It's honestly, it's a base principle of any salesman, and it's really effective because it feeds your desire to make you feel special or make you feel like you've got a special piece of information that gives you some sort of an advantage. And I think that people really they buy into conspiracy theories because they feel like, it's some sort of a forbidden information that they shouldn't know, and it makes them special somehow. Don't ask how, I don't know, but they get this little piece of information, and then they are kind of unable to separate themselves from whatever quote unquote truth that they've learned, and they usually adopt it as a self-identity. And I mean, it goes out from there. I mean, once you have a mob of people that are all basically disseminating the same kind of rhetoric, they it turns into a self-perpetuating mob because the social structure definitely says that this is our group, it's safe inside of our group, it's safe inside the earth is flat in here, and if you want to come in and stand on the flat earth, we can all stand on the flat earth. But then that actually leads to like tribalism, which is stuff like us versus them, and people that are not with us are against us. And so it turns into this self-perpetuating type of behavior that really just, I don't know. I think that's what causes a lot of the incredible passion that you see from some of these crazy ass flat earthers that just will fight to the friggin' death just to defend their beliefs.
That reminds me, there was a flat earth group on Facebook called Flat Earth No Trolls that I joined for probably about 4 months because I wanted to see the hilarity that came from it. And after about 4 months, they finally banned me because when somebody posted a video about the whole ice wall business and the Antarctic Treaty, I responded with a link to a website for a company that was flying people or sailing people down to the South Pole and letting them do hiking trips across, literally to the point of the South Pole. That way they could go confirm for themselves. And just like, here's this information. And someone was like, no, why would I do that? And I'm like, well, to prove whether or not you're right, to determine whether or not what you believe is true. And they're like, why would I want to do that? It's too cold down there.
Really?
I'm like, it's too cold? That's the thing you latched on? Bear in mind, the trips were like $3,500. That's not the part they latched on. It wasn't the expense that bothered these people. It was, it's too cold. I've never heard of a jacket.
Oh my God. I mean, for that price, I might go down there just for fun.
Yeah.
But that's one thing that I've noticed about them. They'll come up with all these excuses to not go and check out that evidence or whatever that you put in front of them. They all kinds of reasons to not do it. And I'm not sure what that mindset is, but I think that's common with flat earthers anyway.
Well, yeah. Honestly, Johnny, I think that's that's part of that tribalism, because anything that's going to threaten the unity of their tribe has to be shunned. It has to be excluded because it just won't do within if basically, I mean, once it threatens the group, it threatens the mental safety, the little warm blankie they built for themselves, and they can't have that. So that's why they really don't go down. It's not because they don't have a fucking jacket. What kind of an idiot excuse is that?
Yeah, I think it's the same thing like with religion. There was a thing with I don't know if you listen to Aaron Rod all day.
All the time.
Okay. Have you heard him go on his diatribe about making a time machine that's only a viewing time machine where you can just see things?
Yes.
Okay. So for anyone who's in the audience who hasn't actually heard about this, Arn Ra has and correct me if I'm wrong on this today, since you've obviously heard it too, but he has proposed a time machine, hypothetically, of course, that is only one-way viewing. Like, you can't actually go back in time. You can just see what would be there in time. And he said, what would happen if I went 2018 years in the past and tried to view the crucifixion or the birth of Christ? Would you want to join me for that? And he would say this to a theist. A theist would say, well, no, of course not. Then he'd go, well, what about the crucifixion? They would go, no, I don't want to. And even if I did and saw that it wasn't real, I would hope that I had enough faith to still believe.
Exactly. And that's part of that, that kind of what I was talking about with the tribalism. And yeah, I did see that video. It was very interesting. He also talked in there about, if he were the rates at which if he were going back in time, and then he broke into his whole phylogeny of life thing. Very, very good video. Arn is awesome.
Oh yeah, I'm actually still working through his Foundational Falsehoods of Creationism book.
Yeah,
it's hard to work through because I've already seen the series and I'm listening to the audiobook, so it's like I'm just listening to the YouTube series. And then suddenly we had dead air.
Hello.
Hello there. Well, yeah, I think we kind of left off there with Arn Ra, but
true. Johnny, you have more questions, I am assuming.
Oh, I got one.
Only one? We have half an hour to fill, sir.
Yeah, it's always to me. I don't know. I think people just follow that charismatic person too. That seems to have. I don't know how does that person get there or whatever. How do you look at somebody and go, they look good, I'm gonna just agree with everything they say, or is it more of like the way they talk, or what? How do people end up following somebody that leads them into that conspiracy theory? That's what I don't understand. Hey.
Oh, that's a good question. Hopefully I can answer that one somewhat. The truth is that, it doesn't take a particularly intelligent person. It doesn't take it doesn't take any special qualities other than having that charisma to be a leader. In some respects, I mean, being a good leader takes more than that, obviously. But here's a perfect example. We were on the Kent Hovind thing before. Kent Hovind is extremely charismatic. And
yes.
I mean, no matter how wrong he is, he's actually kind of fun to listen to.
He sounds great while being wrong. It's something his son doesn't have.
Yeah. So basically, once you have that charisma and you can speak with an air of confidence, like this is absolute truth. I mean, you can do things like claim that the Ark existed.
Mm-hmm.
And, that's people will believe it strictly based on the fact of how confidently you speak, how you present yourself.
We just haven't found it yet, though, even though we have satellite imaging that has shown that it's not on any mountain in the world. We just haven't found it yet.
Are you sure it's not just his Australian accent? It makes him sound so good.
That's Ken. That is
That's
Ken.
Ham.
Were you there?
Oh, God, no. We were talking about Kent Hovind, not Ken Ham. Don't make me listen to Twice the Crazy, please.
Yeah, Ken Ham. He's another. Yeah.
He's a nutter.
Yeah, he's another utter something or another.
It also seems that we've got Miss Snarky here, since Johnny only had one question left and came ill prepared for this.
Hi, y'all.
I
thought we'd get all the way through this whole thing with just talking about nutters.
We could.
I know we can. We're not done talking about the charismatic people. There's different levels of that.
Ken Ham's arc part melts steel beams.
It can melt the economy, right?
Same thing, right? The economy's about as structurally sound.
Well, he needs to hire. He had to expand his or loosen up his rules for hiring people, I guess.
Didn't he only loosen that up for his seasonal work though? Not
I
the
believe
actual,
so, but still,
not the actual onboard staff.
He did, but he also then denied that he did that and got caught red-handed.
They must sign the statement of faith that says that no matter how much information they read, they will still lie.
I know Bible thumpers tend to lie a lot.
Do it in the name of heaven. You can get away with it.
Oh yeah.
Lying for Jesus.
Now, that's the funny thing about the tribalism and everything that, is it really lying? That's actually my big question. Is it? Because I think a lot of these people that are involved in these groups, be it a conspiracy theorist or completely religiously crazy or whatever, I really wonder because sometimes they genuinely seem to believe what they're saying. And so if they genuinely believe what they're saying, is it really a lie?
It is and it isn't. It is a lie, but they're not a liar, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Being a liar has to do with intent, but telling a lie does not have to do with intent.
Yes. Yeah. Indeed. So with these conspiracies, though, like I love your channel, by the way.
Thank you.
You have some very good, high quality content, and we need a lot of you actually, because there's a lot of conspiracy theories.
They're everywhere.
Do we need a lot of they or a lot of them?
A lot of them. A lot of they thems.
Okay.
The main thing I was wanting to ask was, what is the most crazy conspiracy you've come across?
Okay, actually, this is a great question. Just based on my own personal experience, I have actually posted some of the most crazy ones already. The living God for me was the craziest fuck that I've ever found.
What did he said he was Hermes?
Yeah, he's Hermes.
Yeah, yes. I saw that one. It's funny.
But there is one more that I think is crazier, and it's just because it kind of hits home for me. We'll just say that while I'm at Area 51, I do something for a living with cars. And it might have to do with the way that electricity and computers function in cars, but that's just a rumor. Anyways, I ran across a conspiracy theory not that long ago, and I started to make a video for it, and I actually stopped because the video got into the 30-minute range because I was over-explaining the crap out of it. But basically, I ran into a conspiracy theory that said that gasoline is a hoax and that cars and jets actually run off of nitrogen in the atmosphere.
What?
And maybe they should try running their car with an empty tank and see how well it works.
Oh, well, see, that's the
easy to falsify right here.
Well, no, it's not, because gasoline is the primer that gets the nitrogen going.
Exactly.
I mean,
I watched that video.
So what you do is you turn on the engine, and after you've ignited the engine, and you've started it, you then need to go under the car and cut the gas line. Drain all the gas out. No gas. It's primed. It's running. But suddenly you'll notice something. With no gas feeding in, it dies.
You could try putting worm castings in there. See if that works.
What would work with like that Mr. Fusion from Back to the Future? The really funny part about it is just the way that they present it, because they get videos of like jets refueling, and they're like, look at that little refueling cart. That thing couldn't possibly hold enough fuel. And you can obviously see the hose going into the ground. It's like, what the hell is wrong with you? But
oh my god, the thing that I can't stand about that. So there's a side of conspiracy theory that I think doesn't get touched on a lot, It's an issue that I have with flat Earth specifically, but it's with all conspiracy theories really. Is that the logic that is required for a lot of those theories is strictly layperson logic, when the concept at hand sometimes cannot be feasibly perceived by a layperson at all. Like something like the flat Earth. A bunch of mathematical formulas are spouted at you saying, oh, this proves the Earth is flat. And it sounds correct to a layperson. But to anybody who's spent enough time in any math field, they know that any algorithm, any formula that you plug numbers in is going to have numbers come out the other side. Whether you put the wrong numbers in at all, the formula doesn't care if they're the right numbers or not. Numbers still come out the other side. But to a layperson, they just see a formula that didn't stop, and therefore it must be true. Therefore, an engineer proved the Earth is flat somehow. But the numbers aren't correct, and a layperson isn't going to get that sometimes. And it's no different with something like, oh, jet fuel can't melt steel beams. Well, a layperson would probably go, you're right, it must have been thermite. And regardless of whatever end of the conspiracy you fall on there, as a layperson, you don't necessarily have the tools to make that assertion, but people still do. And I think that's a problem with a lot of conspiracy theories, is that it's a layperson trying to make sense of a complicated subject that is out of their depth. But because they can make some sense of it with some formula that doesn't actually follow through, they think that, oh, I understand this concept.
Well, sprinkle of truth just to give it that little appearance of, yeah.
Yes, when I do have crazy hair, it doesn't stay down no matter how hard I try. I'm sorry.
They often, I think you have a good point though, sirs, because they often have, it's riddled with arguments from incredulity. It's just, and if you try to check, if you do try to check, you have to do so much research. If you're a person like me, I'm not an engineer, mathematician, or anything like that, so it's hard for me to debunk. So, yeah, I can see where you're coming from. It's a good point.
And it's like with what they said, the whole, oh, well, it can't possibly be this. They can't possibly have anything in that refueling container. Meanwhile, the hose is showing that it's actually happening.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, that's where the cognitive breakdown is, because people just, they look at something, and exactly like Mrs. Snarky was saying, that, there is just a ton of arguments from incredulity. I don't understand it, therefore it is a conspiracy theory. And it isn't just there. It isn't just flat Earth. It's all over the place, and it rings through to every kind of irrational belief. And you can literally point out the same things, no matter whether it's refueling jets, or whether it's the flat Earth, or chemtrails, or demons, or whatever the fuck flavor of the week conspiracy we have.
It's the Dunning-Kruger effect shining through.
Oh my God, yeah.
And for anybody in the audience who does not know what the Dunning-Kruger effect is, flat earthers demonstrate this better than I ever could. It's not knowing jack shit about something, but your ignorance made you feel smart.
Yeah, pretty much.
I think that's the most concise way I could really explain that.
You're really, really dumb, but you don't know you're dumb. Therefore, you're going to stay dumb.
Therefore, well, it's not just you're going to stay dumb. It's that you feel smart because of it.
Right, and that's why you stay dumb.
Yep.
You already know enough. You know all there is to know. You're good.
Now, my question is, with that, is what does that stem from? Is that a complete breakdown of our education system? Is it some sort of a social construct as to where, a weakness is perceived in such a negative light, and by weakness, I mean the lack of knowledge, perceived in such a negative light that people would be shunned? What do you guys think?
In my opinion, I think there's been an effort for anti-intellectualism. I think I just in the past 10, 15 years, in my experience.
Yeah,
maybe I'm wrong, but
I'd have to agree with you there. It seems that our education system is based very heavily on the idea of regurgitation as opposed to conscious thought. They don't want you to think through a problem. They want you to come up with the answer to the problem very quickly, not necessarily discern what the root cause of any problem is. And I think that's why people are having such a problem with like Common Core math. Common Core math, from what I've been able to tell, is just trying to get people to think more about math as opposed to just going down their multiplication tables and saying, oh, well, 6 times 6 is 12. Not because if you take 6 and add it together this many times, you will get to this, or 6 times 6 is not 12. Wow. 6 times 6 is 36. Kill me. Kill me slowly. But if you... It's the difference between teaching somebody 6 times 6 is 36 because it says so on this table, and 6 times 6 is 36 because here's the actual reasons why. Yes, atheistic snail. I understand. I understand. I made a mistake.
The good thing about this chat is you're going to have someone correct you if you're wrong immediately.
Oh, believe me. When I made my Hugh Ross video, I learned that very quickly. Freaking Chesv with the several essays worth of paragraphs.
Oh, yeah.
Going, Cirrus, these are the different areas that you're wrong on. I'm like, you know what? Fuck it. You've spent over 9 hours on this. I'm making a video.
I made a mistake last night on Dallas Engineers thing. I called it gravity, and it's actually surface tension is what I was trying to go for with it. But
that happens.
That's a whole different story. I was kind of nervous, so.
Well, that's why scripts make us look smarter.
Yeah.
It's very true. I have a tendency to stutter and slur when I'm not on script. When I'm on script, I have the benefit of being able to edit that shit out.
Yeah, plus you're not as nervous as, I don't know about y'all, but when I go live, I'm pretty nervous. And
I think everybody gets a little bit of that.
Yeah. Your brain starts to go into a little overdrive mode, and you're thinking of other things than what you're thinking about. So
yeah.
Well, what do you think on that one though, Snarky? Me and Johnny chimed in on the education system. What do you think?
I think it has to do with definitely the education system, but you also have a different dynamic now of communication than we had before. And so anybody with a dumbass idea can just get out there and post a video about it, and then people go, "Oh, I buy that. That's something
that makes sense to me in my world where I've never studied that subject."
So, yeah, it's a lot more easy for bad ideas to spread than it has been before. And propaganda, of course, is prevalent.
That's a really good point, Mrs. Snarky, and I think you should probably put together a formula so we can calculate the speed at which idiotic ideas spread across the internet.
Well, you're going to need a mathematician for that.
Not necessarily. We actually could do that with. We actually could do that simply by using just common metrics. Just put a bunch of bad ideas out on the internet and measure how fast they get popular on Reddit. Just measure each one
to start.
Yeah,
you got anything that measures milliseconds?
Yeah, like put a bunch of bad ideas out there on Reddit and see how many of them get popular, and then average them all together, and you will know the speed at which bad ideas propagate on the internet.
This is going to, of course, need to be multiply sampled. So we're all going to have to make a disingenuous channel and come up with an idea so that we can get multiple samples to see how bad these ideas go through. Maybe we can get a few more people in on this. Start a little conspiracy, anyone?
I think Reactor did that years ago on reaction channels. He made a satire channel, but according to Poe's law, nobody could tell that he was satire. And he was trying to point out that the reaction channels were stupid and bad ideas, but nobody could tell the difference.
And that's how he got popular, right?
Yep.
I wonder what sort of ramifications that has, though. Like, what waves still exist from those, from that channel? I mean, could we go down to Brandolini's law there and talk about how much effort it would take to undo that level of damage?
And see, therein we have the problem with being skeptics, because you want to be propagator of good information, not bad information, but to get these measurements, you have to propagate bad information. and then you have to try to undo that information.
Yeah, that's a day in the life of they. So let me tell you that.
Yeah, I think it might end up being better to just track pre-existing bad ideas, see when they got started and see when they got traction, as opposed to doing our own, just because of how disingenuous it would be to do our own.
You know, that's actually a good point, and I'm being semi-serious. What if you took a bad idea and gave it a little bit of a spin, where enough you could take a pre-existing notion like flat Earth and gave it, you know, some kind of a little spin and track and see how quickly that goes through a community?
I got an example. Roadway solar panels.
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
That's a very bad idea that got traction and kind of.
I think Thunderfoot did a really good job debunking that, though.
Yeah.
Which is, it's really sad that you've got people like, oh yeah, if we had all of our roadways be solar panels, that'd be great. Like, yeah, it would, if the solar panels could tilt to the direction of the sun in order to gather enough energy to be functional. And I don't know about you, but if I had tilting roads, I wouldn't be very happy. Like, oh, I'm sorry, we caused 13,000 accidents on the highway today. So why do we do that? We were trying to gather a little bit of solar power.
Hey, well, to be fair, sir, if cars were running on nitrogen, this really wouldn't be a problem. So,
well, you know what? Obviously, gas is just a primer. So,
you know what? I'm not gonna release that video unless people have a deep interest in it, because I get down to like the molecular math of how what actually happens inside an engine, why it does what it does. So I was not done with that video, and it was already beyond the 30-minute mark.
Is there that much information, or is it just there's that much explanation required?
Yes.
Damn, I don't want to die. She's threatening me with pillows. Very disheartening. I just want to live. Pam, I just want to live.
Hi, Pam.
Hi.
Hello.
Congratulations, you have hijacked the stream.
Uh-oh.
This is not unlike my April Fool's video where you hijacked it.
We all just went dead air to see what would happen. Is Cirrus going to live?
I was getting
No, I'm probably going to die here. This is where it ends.
Well, if there is like an afterlife, come back and tell us, okay? I got to know.
You know, I'll make sure. I'm going to let you know when Jesus, the not Jesus, tells me that the not Muhammad is real. Yes, I'll do that.
Excellent. I knew it. I knew it could count on someone. I do the same for you, you know.
Well, you know, they could use that information for their file. It's very perfect.
Hangouts over here. I'm not doing that though because I'm looking at chat.
So I actually
I was told to wave.
I have something kind of funny on that subject, Mrs. Snarky. I got involved in a comment section of Cool Hard Logic's same video that actually inspired me to start, and there was a religious wacko in there, and I just mean beyond wacko. But I wound up telling him that they had captured. They had actually captured Satan, and so there was nothing to worry about. And we used the cover-up of the Mount St. Helens explosion, so that people would believe that was, oh yeah, we captured Satan, is being held in a detention center in New Mexico. And you know what was really funny about that conversation? I was being an asshole, and they didn't catch it. They were like, "Good on you, brother. Keep up the good faith."
What? That is Poe's law at its finest.
Yes, it is.
They couldn't tell. They couldn't tell you were a troll.
Expert level there.
I thought it was. I still laugh about it. It's still friggin' funny. I mean, for God's sakes, we used Mount St. Helens explosion as a cover-up to capture Satan. Come on.
Well, don't you know that's the reason that we aren't in World War III yet? Satan was the reason we had World War I and II. Satan's influence on Hitler made him go kill all the Jews.
Of course.
So the reason we're not in World War III is because we captured Satan. We stopped it.
You're right. We did. He's called the president.
Oh God, you're right.
Hey, how did Hitler get influenced by Satan if he was an atheist?
Because he was also a Catholic.
Yeah.
Well, atheists worship Satan, right?
Yeah.
Shit,
I don't know about you, but I read my Satanic Bible every day while also eating my vegan babies.
I like vegan
See,
babies.
I don't eat vegan babies. They're too chewy. I eat purebred, just on the meat babies.
Purebred babies. You know what we
Yeah.
call purebred babies? Inbred babies. You've been eating inbred babies.
Yeah.
I usually start my day with a baby from each country. You know, I'm an equal opportunity baby eater.
I usually boil mine down into a cup of coffee.
Oh, yeah, that's good too.
No, see, that's what I do to my hater's blood.
Very good.
That's what wakes me up in the morning.
Don't cross Pam, y'all.
Right?
True. Believe me, you don't want to.
I was waiting for you to mouth help me.
So that's actually what happens when we have missing children in the world, by the way.
Is that
Atheists are eating them.
Of course.
can confirm he has a freezer full of them.
Yes.
Hey, not all atheists.
Hashtag not all atheists.
Way to go, Johnny.
You've started a Tumblr movement. Congratulations. I hope you're proud.
Right. Really? No.
For some reason, because nobody's using anything but an avatar, when I'm talking to you guys, I keep looking at the microphone as if you guys are physically the microphone.
We are.
As if the microphone is going to start talking back to me. And oh dear God, if it starts doing that, I think I'm going to have to take some meds.
So is that an innate behavior, or is that something you learn from culture?
Actually, the reptoids told me to do it, but they also told me not to tell you that. So if I go missing tomorrow,
Well, I am the king
Because
reptoid. You know that, emperor.
Don't worry, Cyrus. I haven't made any orders like that.
I knew you were a reptilian.
I was about to say, if you go missing, we'll just ask if they were you were.
Well, the good news is that if I go missing, nobody will tell. It just means that I won't appear on live streams on camera. But somebody could just imitate my voice and keep running the channel as normal, and nobody would tell the difference.
We'll just get some recordings of you, and we'll be fine.
Yeah.
I got to be honest, Cyrus. I've got a lot of hologram projectors, to help the reptilians out. So we could make that happen.
Okay, I'm gonna let you know right now. If you've got hologram projectors, I've got a children's card game up there that would do really well with those. Okay,
And what game is that?
Too old for Yu-Gi-Oh jokes. God damn it!
Went meow.
It flew above the head, and it flew into the buildings, and it created multiple loose change conspiracy theories.
Yeah,
Name gun, don't tell them my plan.
Oh, we have a plan, do we?
I didn't realize you too had a plan.
Is it an evil plan?
There was only one person that got the thing that I did, and he's the only one that caught it. Like, I have to shout that out because, like, there.
Speaking of conspiracy theories, what's this deal about everybody getting shadow banned? I've kind of been seeing a lot of that lately, or whatever. People talking about it.
Basically, I don't know if Twitter's been automatically doing it or if their staff has been doing it, but people are effectively having their tweets not show up for other people. whether it be their tweets, their retweets, their likes, or their comments. There's a few websites that'll track like when your last ones were seen by other users, and it'll help determine whether or not you're shadow banned. So like if you sent a tweet out in the last 10 minutes and it can't grab that tweet, then you're banned on Twitter's side, but it's a shadow ban because you can't see it. Nobody else can see it. There's no announcement whatsoever. As to why, I don't know. I think it might just be a bug in Twitter's algorithm. That's just me, though.
Yeah, I think so too. I've just heard so many people talking about it, and yeah, I don't know if it's a thing or not, and it is possible that bots are doing that to try and reduce spam content or something, but I don't know.
I know it is doing it for spam, because when I was accidentally double posting, because I was using IFTTP for my marketing on my channel, it did it to me very quickly, but I got an actual ban and then a shadow ban shortly afterwards when me and Lavender Lady were talking about it.
Twitter's
weird. I still don't get Twitter.
It's fun.
I don't have any social media because, I mean, God's honest truth, what would happen if the world knew that they was out there in the social platform?
I
was going to say, are you afraid of they finding out?
Maybe.
Possibly.
They might be here.
They might be there. They might be behind my couch.
Not tonight.
That's terrifying. All the answers you could have given.
Not tonight.
So in terms of how we deal with conspiracy theories spreading so quickly, how do we combat that? I mean, we all have channels that kind of debunk some of this stuff, but what is a way that we can prevent it from reoccurring like it has been?
Just line them up and
no.
Well, without genocide.
Oh, no, I meant FEMA camps. I'm not gonna have to.
Oh, FEMA camps. Well,
we can put them on a different planet, maybe.
Do you know how many years the FEMA camp theories have been going on and nothing has been confirmed?
It's so funny.
The world has ended like 4 times.
I know. Don't you understand? The 7 years of the tribulation are actually God's creation ages. So we actually have about 60,000 years left.
Well, good. I was hoping I had a little time. I got a couple things to do yet.
You know, you can get a couple things done in that amount of time.
A couple, yeah.
How long do reptilians live anyway, Johnny?
What was that?
I said, how long do reptilians live anyways, Johnny?
Oh, well, that's a need to know basis.
I think the only way
before you find out, you don't need to know.
Hey, wait, that's right. Don Mission just said today was the rapture. I think it was yesterday, though, wasn't it? That the rapture was supposed to happen. That latest prediction.
Today that the rapture was supposed to happen.
Is it?
Nuclear war was supposed to be on the 18th.
To be fair, we're getting there. Like, Trump keeps pushing China. I mean,
don't get me wrong. One politician being a fucking idiot into the general public is nothing new.
No, but he's the president of the United States of America, and if he decides to push the pretty little red button, then he decides to push the pretty little red button.
Can we just go back to the Bill Clinton days where, like, the worst thing that happened is he fucked a different girl in the White House? As opposed to, like, potentially leading us into nuclear holocaust?
Yeah, and you know, the Iranian deal, if he rescinds that, if he goes back on that, how are we going to deal with North Korea? Because we had this deal going on with Iran. We still do, but I mean, he could go back on it.
Yeah, he could do a lot of dumb shit. Isn't it just wonderful that we have somebody running the country who has nothing but failed corporations under his belt?
Oh, yeah, and failed casino. How do you fucking bankrupt a casino?
Now, granted, the reason that he fails them is because that gives him tax breaks, but still.
You're right.
Yeah,
it's an obvious conspiracy.
Obviously.
10 out of 10 would conspiracy again.
I'm a Snuffy on the Rapture. I wish it would happen because we'd get rid of a lot of idiots in this world if that would happen. It'd be pretty peaceful.
But see, here's the thing: if the Rapture happened and we did get rid of those idiots, it would confirm that we are the idiots.
That is true.
No, I'd be just done with them.
You'd just be like, I want to go swimming in my lake of fire.
Nobody said it was hot fire. Could be cold fire.
What?
You never know.
There's like 9,000 other gods that probably have to have their raptures and end of days as well, so we can just pick one.
Just have Jesus and Vishnu sitting there, rock, paper, scissors, shoot.
Oh,
rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Okay, you get to have your genocide and destruction of the world.
Well, meteor shower on Friday, and then on Sunday you get to watch the Rapture.
And that's when Apophis will come.
I want to go back to Mrs. Snarky's question. I think the only way that we can really combat crazy conspiracy theories is through education. And honestly, the fact of the matter is, while it is a lot of fun, and I am absolutely guilty of it, it is a lot of fun to make fun of these people. But the truth is that if we don't try to educate and at least put some rationalizations out there, that if someone is teetering on the line, they may pay attention to the rationalization rather than the crazy. I think that's the only way that it can be combated, because even as you said before, with the level of connectivity today, a bad idea can head across the internet in a matter of hours. So the only real way is to prevent it.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Of course, at that point, how do you prevent it? Because even with the best education, you've got people like Georgia from AIG who has a PhD in biology and yet somehow says that evolution didn't happen.
I think she willfully does that. I think she's making money.
Well,
it's hard to say that, but
she's said before on the show that she got her PhD by going through the motions.
Yeah,
not actually absorbing any of it. But the thing is that you can have a good education system and go through all of it to the highest level and still come out the other end an idiot.
Yeah, there's some people out there that you wonder how they got there.
Yeah.
Well, and I'm not even necessarily just saying the education system, because maybe the information needs to be out there, like on some of our channels, and not necessarily just refutations where we're making fun of them, but maybe more rational refutations where people who are curious about the subject, who might be on the fence, can find good information that isn't childish, and they can make the decision for themselves. Mm-hmm. Ultimately, in order to make an omelet, some eggs are going to get broken, and you just can't save them all. But I think that realistically, doing everything that we can to save the ones that are on the fence is all that really can be done.
That's a good point. I think too, what would help is critical thinking. If we teach our kids early enough how to think in such a way and not be misled in the first place, that would definitely help. But, it is fun to believe in crazy shit, I guess.
Teaching people how to think as opposed to what to think.
Yes. Exactly.
That's why I'm always going to be eternally grateful, even though me and my mom disagree on several thousand different subjects. If there's one thing I'm thankful for, I never, ever growing up heard because I said so.
Right.
There was always a reason given behind every rule in the house, every stipulation. There was a reason given, and it was never because I said so.
That's good. It's weird. I was talking to Auntie Ordinary about that earlier. And she said that was being raised that way. A lot of parents do that because they don't want to invest time or whatever. But if you explain to a kid the reasons and everything else, then they'll be able to accept what you say a lot better. And they'll also, like you said, they'll grow up to think critically and question things. So it's good. Do you think there's any way to completely eradicate these bad ideas? I know that that's kind of idealistic, but
I don't think so.
I think Johnny's the only one of us that has an idea on that one. and I don't agree with it.
Yeah, I strongly disagree with him as well.
Oh, come on. I'm not like that.
I love you, Johnny, but we're going to have to disagree.
We're going to have to pull you aside. We're going to have a talk with you and your reptilian overlords, because obviously you're going a bit too far.
But it works on paper. It works on paper.
Communism works on paper. And look how well that's gone.
So have you guys ever heard of the concept of star seeds?
I have.
What are your thoughts on that?
Honestly, that is, for me, I think it is a really fascinating concept. I mean, it is basically, for me, it's fantasy, but that's just because there is, like a lot of things, there is no proof in either direction, but it's still a really fascinating concept. And with a lot of the, molecular biologists and scientists out there that have been doing a lot of work on the abiogenesis projects, it is really interesting to know that they have almost come to the conclusion that life may be inevitable, like damn near inevitable in other places. So given the age of the universe, I don't think it's not a possibility. However, being somewhat possible doesn't make it probable. However, it is a really, really cool concept.
Yeah, I think it's a cool concept too. And when you look at like meteorites and bacteria and stuff that can survive on a meteorite, that's plausible. But when you start talking about I'm an Octurian because my fifis, then I'm gonna be like, what? What?
Then you're starting to cause some questions.
Yeah.
I do have one other question that just came up. From a conversation me and a friend had a few days ago. Have you ever heard of a government system called voluntarism?
No. Nope.
That's what I thought. That's what I said. He's the type of person that says that all government is bad and it's all false authority. And I pointed out that for human beings to have a functioning society, there is some level of cooperation that's required. What system would you prefer as opposed to a government? And he was like, well, voluntarism. Like, well, can you explain what that is? And he just sent me a link. And I'm like, that doesn't help. And then I tried to go online and see if there were any countries that practiced that as a method of government. And I couldn't find anything. I don't think I'm going to, which means that to me, it's just a fairy tale.
I don't know anything about this. That's why I'm quiet. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's same here. I have no idea.
Yeah, that's pretty much how I feel as well. I have almost no information on it because there's no countries that practice it.
I gotta let Steven in, you guys. So, because
Fine.
He's my buddy.
That's perfectly fine.
And I know I always end up talking with him on comments on Thay's channel all the time in the comments.
Yeah, Steve's everywhere. He's awesome. Hi, Steve.
Hello.
Hey.
What's
Hey,
up?
Steve.
I was like, well, he's not in here yet, and then I realized I was looking at the YouTube, not the actual Hangout.
The kitty cat. Kitty cat.
I can show my face if you want. I don't know if they will approve. I need his permission.
Do you have your hologram on?
That's the cat.
If he's got his hologram on, I think everything's fine, right?
Yeah, we're all good.
Sweet.
I've turned off my locator chip though, so they can't find me.
That's
Which one?
Which they or which locator chip?
Mrs.
Yeah.
Starkey, please report to your local Walmart, and we will have to talk with you.
Oh, FEMA done got me.
Welcome to the FEMA camp.
They're gonna take all my guns, which is a total of 0. So
Oh, lordy. What are you going to do without your 0 guns?
I don't have any clue.
What are you
I'm
going to do
scared.
if the government comes after you? By the way, I do own guns, and I think like the whole gun culture is just ridiculous.
Well, thank you, Stephen. I appreciate that because there's a lot of gun nuts. And I'm not against gun ownership as long as it's responsible. I just want to make that clear. But I've known folks that will keep their pistol in their pocket that has holes in it. It'll just fall out of their pocket. And I'm like, no, you shouldn't have a gun.
Well, I do that, but I keep it on my holster. But you got to remember, I have land in the middle of the woods where there's like bears and wolves.
Steve,
it's
very hard to hear you.
Yeah, you're a little bit quiet, Steven.
Wait, what was that? I'm quiet?
Like you started out at a good volume and then just kind of tapered off.
Damn Illuminati. Is that better or no?
He's melting.
I think God is very against anything you have to say.
Of course.
God.
That's because Steven's one of the best disinformation agents out there.
Perfect.
Is it better now?
Slightly. You sound a little louder. How close are you to your microphone?
I'm actually using my phone.
Well, fillet your phone.
Yeah. I'm actually about, right now, I'm probably about, I don't know, 8 centimeters from it. I think that's about 3 inches for this side of the pond, if I remember.
Okay, well, 3 inches is nowhere near large enough. We need to go bigger.
So you saying move away or deep throat this thing?
I'm saying deep throat it.
Oh, that just took a turn.
It did. And I'm the only girl here. Well, no, there's Pam there.
I'm sorry.
I feel better now.
Well, I don't know how many
you're
of
right.
you have actually been in
Don't
movie
fillet it, pee kiss it.
Yeah, pee kiss.
How many of you have been in Cy Strike's movie night? That's always a train wreck. You think
I haven't. I want to try. I want
need
to check
to.
it out sometime. Yeah.
Any situation that's referred to as a train wreck has got to be a good time.
Yes.
Oh, it is. We just watch shitty conspiracy YouTube clips and drink and call bullshit. So it usually takes about 3 hours to get through a like 15-minute video.
Why is it that I don't know about this awesomeness?
I could go to your channel and link last week's for you. I wasn't on the panel last week. I had too much stuff to do. You know, I had to turn the hologram on for the moon and stuff. So. Oh
yeah, all that stuff again. When are you going to be done with your moon project?
I actually, I don't think it's ever going to end. I'm hoping the 27th I can get some good observations to show that sway. You know, for those of you who don't know, the moon throughout the night, if you watch Tycho Crater, you can actually get your latitude at moonrise and moonset, but the Tycho Crater from your vantage point appears to sway in the northern hemisphere from your right to your left throughout the night, and that happens because we're on a spinning ball. That wouldn't happen if the Earth didn't rotate. So I'm hoping to get observations of that. But it looks like it might rain, so I might have to. Yeah.
But if it rains on the flat Earth, does all the water fall off?
Ice wall.
Ice ball. Oh yeah, that's right. It's like a bowl.
I forget what.
Oh, yeah, there's no need. There's no need for you to keep perpetuating the lies here. We're everybody here knows.
Just remember, you got to enter 666 to turn on the lunar hologram before you enter 8675309.
Yeah, I know that.
Didn't you know pi is the mark of the beast? I thought 666 was. Shut up, globetard.
Yeah, that's exactly how that goes.
That's how most conversations with flat earthers go.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, or they scream CGI at you, or
CGI NASA.
Yeah.
What about the ISS? CGI. What about the moon? Hologram.
Yeah.
You wouldn't believe the budget we have for CGI. It's huge.
It would have to be.
I think it's probably about $350 from the way, as somebody who has worked with the government in one capacity or another most of his life, I can tell you the government ain't got crap. People give it way too much credit,
I know.
especially on the competency level.
Yeah.
One of my subscribers, his name is Real Everyday. He has a very small channel, and
He's a great guy.
Him and I have actually gone back and forth, and he wanted me to always like plug a something into one of my videos. So here goes his plug. It's the hyper competitive government conspiracy. And basically it is that the government is absolutely capable of controlling all things.
Yeah.
Have you not seen who's running the government?
Oh, Jesus Christ.
What he said.
I can barely respond to Steve because I can barely hear Steve.
Damn it. Maybe I should cut out and try to come back in. I wonder if people even realize that there are literally no qualifications for being a politician.
Oh, yes, there is. You have to profess to love God.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Or at least pretend you do.
Which
Well,
most of them do.
yeah, but that's professing it, right? It doesn't mean you mean it.
True.
Isn't professing to love God also how you manage to avoid getting charged for child molestation?
I think it works in about 48 states.
Like, I'm fairly certain the Jehovah's Witnesses and the Catholics both are pretty good at that.
Or maybe, honestly, for Catholics, that's the avenue to it.
You know, we need you to be celibate, okay, and sexually repressed. Well, those two things kind of go together.
Yeah, what
What's going to happen after a year to you? I don't know. You tell me. You're going to fuck a child. Okay, well, I guess that's going to happen. Damn.
But I make my living off of stealing the confession booth money. So
That is a worthy profession, Johnny.
it is. I mean,
The Bible even says a fool and his money are soon parted.
you're forgiven. The Pope doesn't need all this now. He doesn't live as high as he used to. So I can splurge a little.
Yeah. Oh, crap. Someone's at my door. I'll be right back, guys.
Okay.
And then he disappeared forever.
It's the reptilians.
So how
They're
much longer do we have the
The
show
second
running for today, Johnny?
Oh, what was that?
Said, how much longer do we have the show running for tonight, Johnny?
We can shut down whenever we get there. We're already over our hour, but it doesn't matter to me. What is that? Oh, that's Steven. Now we're looking at Steven's ceiling.
At least you know the ceiling. Can you hear me better?
Yeah.
Well, we can see you.
Oh.
Glorious beard is glorious.
You, sir, are a man among lumberjacks.
I'm just feral.
Take off to the Great White North, eh?
Yeah.
So I think the problem is that you are farther away from the mic.
Yeah. Hold on. I'm going to try to scooch up here. I'm sorry. I tried to do this on my laptop, and I can't even get on. I don't know what the hell's going on.
It's Satan.
I would blame.
Whoa.
What was that?
I don't know.
Gravity.
Gravity.
No, surface tension.
Gravity, you retard! Gravity!
Surface tension.
Oh, buoyancy, which is actually gravity is required for buoyancy. All right.
So, Steve, do you condition your beard?
No, but I do watch it. I'm not that feral.
Bring Marcus in too.
I don't know. Can you hear? Yeah, it looks like you guys can hear me better. I don't know what the hell is going on with this.
It's a bit quiet, but
I didn't really have. You were a little bit quiet at first, but
Yeah.
All right, I'm back.
welcome back.
I gotta say, if you guys have never been doorbell ditched by reptilians, it sucks. They can't crap in the little bags. They have to use the full-size grocery bags. So when it's on fire, it's a mess.
They use outhouses, the reptilians, when you're not up? Like, say you had a cabin up north and you go up there.
Steve? They pee out of their fingers. You uncultured swine.
Yeah.
And for the rest of the time, they pretty much use large cat boxes, which might have something to do with why they get on with cats so well. Not real sure about that.
They just pet cats. It's like, why is my cat wet?
Well, there's a lot of cats here.
They peed on the cat.
Which came first, the reptilian or the egg?
Both.
Flat earther.
Chupacabras.
Yeah, because he got off to the idea of a flat world. Earth Chan, are you flat? No. Damn
it.
They're plotting.
They're plotting. Hold on. Where is? Hold on.
Uh-oh.
Where are they? Where are they hiding?
Where's what?
I don't
Here's
know.
one of them.
Oh.
Big Bub. Come here.
Is that Big Bub or Little Bub?
This is Big Bub. Big Bub.
Big Bub, I love it. I want a pedestal.
Hi.
Oh.
This is Blackie. He's a very large.
And very unruly kitty.
He is quite happy to see him, but
Oh.
Pretty eyes.
Let me go get my feral one.
My sub count's going to go way up now with all these kitties on here.
Yeah. The internet loves cats.
It
At
does.
least got 4 of them.
yup. I'm trying to
got
find
5.
the other one.
Johnny, that's why I work cat memes in on my videos. You know, it's just a shameless plug to get subscribers.
Well, it's working.
Actually, I've got a couple of those cat memes that I still like. When I see them, I laugh my ass off. Then that's why they're on my videos.
Hey, kitty.
This is dog cat.
The
This is
mama
like-
kitty. Mama.
Oh, now we got competing cats.
Yep.
He doesn't want me holding him right now. I disturbed his
Oh.
time.
Gigi has no problem with being held.
At all. She is fine.
Yep. She is accepting.
So they.
This is the mom of
What
that
happened
one.
to Real every day? He dropped off for a while. I saw him in a chat not too long ago.
Baby.
This has turned into
Steve, he was posting comments on my video that I just dropped the other day.
Oh, he did? I didn't.
Oh yeah,
I got a
Who
creep
are you
on
talking
him,
about?
man.
yeah. He like the last few videos that I put out. He usually comments on it within the first 60 seconds of it being up.
Nice.
Wow.
The fuck is it?
dedicated fan.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I've got one.
You got 2. I usually see yours, but I got that stupid job I got to do.
Yeah, I've got one of those too.
I just discovered you had a channel last week, so I binge watched quite a bit of it.
Wait,
Well, at least
which
4
one?
videos,
Gigi.
I think. Huh?
You heading out, Gigi? Oh, nope, she's not leaving. She has decided that it is time to lay down here.
And now you must sit there until you die or she moves. Whichever.
Pretty
comes.
much. So, when it comes to cultural connections with conspiracy theories, it kind of varies, doesn't it?
Without a doubt. I mean, the conspiracy theories, they definitely vary with culture. Oddly, there is some places in Northern Europe that take the flat Earth thing very seriously, and I find that one just crazy.
That one's just bonkers.
Really?
Really, I thought that was almost exclusively an American thing.
No, in America, it's the flat earthers are almost exclusively also religiously crazy.
Yeah.
Yes.
But there's there is some. Gosh, I've seen like 2 or 3 guys from Norway of all places that were like Jeranism level of crazy.
Oh no!
Wow.
Please, no!
That's very
Not
crazy.
talk
Yeah,
about
you
him on
gotta
this
watch
channel.
movie night sometime. Yeah, we watch a lot of Jeranism, and we're all dumber for it.
Jeranism is a level of not just crazy but stupid.
Yeah.
I stay
When he
away
starts
from.
talking in a debate, he sounds like a cult leader. I don't think he realizes this. He immediately starts with the things like priests of scientists and stuff. Sounds exactly like David Koresh used to.
Oh my
The
god.
worst part about Darwinism is that he knows nothing and he's super proud of it. Just goes, well, I don't know, but you don't know, therefore I know.
Yeah.
That is his
Well,
logic.
for him, it is his paycheck. So, I mean, the guy doesn't have a job. So
So do you think he's a Poe?
I don't know.
Steve McRae
I do
does
know
almost
he
exclusively
homeschools his
YouTube, and I have respect for him.
I don't know. It's kind of beyond being a Poe, though. You know, I don't know. I if anyone is, though, I would say it's him, because you've got ones like Antonio Subarats. That guy's just stupid. That guy's genuinely dumb. But yeah, he might be. If any of them are, it's him.
Though, I will have to say, and this is not saying that this stream has to end at all, but I am saying that I'm going to have to take my leave because I have stayed well over the time that I have allotted for myself.
You're under no contractual obligation. The hour's up.
Yeah, John, I need my paycheck now, please.
It's in the mail.
Well, Casey told me the same thing about the Skeptic Mafia paycheck that I was supposed to receive.
Oh, that check's in the mail, sir. It's in the mail.
Cool. I'll be happy to receive those checks in the mail.
My people will talk to your people.
The check has been strapped to the back of a turtle. Loose. So you may or may not.
Good, Steve. It was nice meeting you, and it was definitely nice meeting you, since I've already been somewhat introduced to you by watching your channel.
Well, it was actually nice to talk to you as well. I definitely wouldn't mind getting on this again.
Well, it's good. I mean, I've been wanting to talk to you for a while, since we, do the moon hologram thing together,
Oh yeah, of course. And anyways, you are a true paid shill.
Oh yeah. my wife. Let's just say you don't take government jobs for the paycheck. Let's just say that. You take it for the time off. So.
But yeah, that was the main thing I was kind of wondering was with the flat earth, because it seems like a lot of them are religious. And I really haven't looked that much into flat earth. And so if they're coming from a place of religion where they're already kind of indoctrinated or are thoroughly indoctrinated, then it kind of makes sense that they would take the Bible literally. I mean, it doesn't make sense, but it does, if you get what I'm saying.
Well, I've said that before with these flat earthers. I've tried to, before I was blocked from Ken Hoven's channel, he actually did a video where he explained to flat earthers why the earth is not flat. And I left a lengthy comment on there basically blaming him for the whole flat earth movement, saying, you've been telling people that a literal interpretation of Bronze Age hand-me-down stories is the word of God for how long now? What did you honestly think was going to happen?
Yeah, exactly, because that's how the logic follows. If the Bible is a true scientific book and it's historical and all that jazz, then yeah, the earth would be flat.
Yeah, and they're taking it straight out of the Old Testament. And I don't think some people who think Genesis is actual history realize that.
Yeah.
The funny thing is, though, is that you don't always see flat earthers that are creationists or even Christian necessarily. And I think that was, honestly, that kind of lends to the tribalism I was talking about before. Once somebody decides they want to belong to one of these little crazy cult things like flat earth, it doesn't really matter where they're from or what they think, as long as they agree with the little tribe of flat earthers. I mean, just since we're talking about that, but it could apply to anything. And I think that is how we get some of a cultural crossing of some of the most idiotic ideas that have ever come out of America.
Oh, I would definitely agree with that. And there's definitely a tribalism there, because when you ask for things like evidence, you never get evidence. You get a lot of. If you ever watch flat earthers troll something, it's usually just bumper sticker slogans. You know, something that belongs on a red hat or something like. It's never anything of any substance. And the ones that try can't do it. There's a reason why they deny math and they deny gravity. It's because these things easily disprove a flat earth. And they can't do math, so they just deny it's legitimate. You know.
So I'm sorry, I've got to stop you real quick, Steve, because I just cannot resist myself. So would this red hat say "Make flat Earth great again"?
Probably. Yep.
Oh,
Stuffy goes CGI, and Magnagun goes reasons. That's pretty much. Where's the moon? I just think it's funny how flat earthers don't understand, like, the lit side of the moon is the daytime side of the moon. They don't grasp simple, basic concepts. And I don't know. It's just, it's bizarre. Like, you start to get into a math conversation with any of them, and they fail. Like, they can't even do basic math. I mean, I had one in a chat try to tell me that 1,000 plus a negative 1,000 was 2,000. Well, plus and negative is the same thing as minus. That's called subtraction. That's zero. But see, that's why they don't like math, because when they can't do it or explain where they pulled these parroted numbers from, and you call them out, they can't say anything because they don't know.
Yeah, that's kind of my theory.
Shit, like show me the curve or NASA lies or whatever. They're more likely. People are more likely to be susceptible to that, because most people tune out with math anyway.
That's kind of my theory about flat earthers in particular, is that they're not, don't seem to be smart enough to understand the science, but they want to feel smart, so therefore flat earth.
Yeah. And even a lot of the things that they think are evidence of flat earth, you know, some of them do start at with a logical question, but then they immediately shoot down the rabbit hole. And it's like, well, if you give them an answer, you either get you're a shill or you don't know what you're talking about. But if they start with the basic question, I mean, some of them you can answer. I was going somewhere with this, and I don't remember where it was. God, getting old sucks.
Yeah.
You got a ways to go, buddy.
It's just bizarre. And you're absolutely right about the whole thing. You know, they don't know, but they don't want to know. But, you know, now I know where I was going with that. It's even if they have an idea or something that they think might show the conspiracy or whatever, 99% of the time it has nothing to even do with the shape of the earth at all. You know, so, but they come to the conclusion that the earth is flat from that somehow. Just like the guy who didn't understand the phases of the moon, that the lit side of the moon is the daytime side of the moon, therefore flat earth.
Well, obviously.
You know, I don't understand it, therefore whatever I want it to be.
Yep.
Thanks, Obama. Blaming him for stuff?
Well, Steve, in the beginning of the stream, I was talking a little bit. We were talking a little bit about on the psychology, social psychology behind conspiracy theories, and like what you're talking about is actually a pretty good demonstration of the way that conspiracy theorists actually use social polarization to protect their own beliefs. And it is a really funny thing how they the non sequitur is the really it's like the first thing they go to when they cannot refute you. And so as soon as you see that, you actually know you've won the argument.
Yeah, but they won't see it that way. No, you're absolutely right. Listening to some of these people talk, it sounds like they're running for Republican candidate of whatever. It sounds very much like politics. And yeah. Anyway, that's just my 2 cents.
Well, they're very convinced, and for some reason, everybody else needs to believe the same way they do. But if everybody believed the way they did, then they couldn't be special. So
exactly, and spot on. They need to feel special, and it helps them to have that safety within their little number, and they have their little social construct, and they can be special while also being part of the herd.
Yeah, and I find it very ironic that they tend to refer to other people as sheeple. That makes me laugh every time.
Or when they use the phrase cognitive dissonance.
Yes, I know.
Have you actually met one that knows what that means?
No.
Asking them if they know what it means. No, they don't. They hear it and they repeat it, and then they go and show you exactly why they have no thought process and can hold multiple contradictory beliefs simultaneously, and it's not a problem.
Well, they keep proving Dunning-Kruger is a real thing all the time, I guess.
Oh, God, yes. Absolutely, Johnny.
I used to call that the Freddy Krueger effect, but nobody and I would say that. Nobody even got it, so I stopped calling it that.
It's, you know what, to be honest with you, that's relevant because they're about as constructive as each other.
Yeah.
So, when do we get your next video? I know you've been working on some big projects.
Let's see. I am working on 2 projects. And I will tell you, and a possible third.
Sweet. You're done with the low-hanging fruit series, right?
No, I'm not. Because of the most recent one I dropped, don't you remember at the beginning of my video, I said just to make sure that there is no conspiracy theories about the disappearance of they.
Yes.
I'm not done with it. I wanted to step off of it to do these other 2 projects. One of them is Fireside Chats with They, and I intend to make it aesthetically pleasing, and that way it may lend a little more credence, draw a little more interest into some of the things that I am interested in talking about, and possibly Fireside Chats with They. I discussed this with Johnny earlier. I might have guests. The Adventures of Agent 42 is another project that I have, and I just got someone to agree to voice Agent 42. So that one is also in the works. Both of these projects are animated, and they are going to take a great deal of my time. The possible third project that I have, and we actually haven't discussed it very much on here, is I am thinking about starting a sister channel, just because I'm not sure that on the channel, on my funny they channel, that it would be taken seriously. But I actually have wanted to get into more atheist activism kind of subjects. And I don't really think that they is the correct platform for that. So a possible third project, but yeah, man, I got a lot of projects going, but I've decided already that I am not going to stop the low-hanging fruit series because, well, shit, it's just too fun.
It's low-hanging fruit.
It's a fun series. I like it.
Yeah, more power on you doing the whole animation thing. As you know, thanks to your help, I suck at video editing. That's the main reason why I show my face, is because I'm too lazy to do any actual editing. But I'm getting better, aren't I?
Steve, dude, I'm seriously, your editing is actually pretty good, man. I love all the stuff you've been doing lately with the measurements. It's fantastic. I'm glued to that stuff. They're great.
Thanks.
So it's just me and him.
We will be getting boring. What, Johnny?
I said it's just me and they that are watching your channel now.
Probably. Sorry.
No, it's really good stuff, and the editing's great.
Well, thanks. Well, hopefully when we get a lot of field stuff, we can start the field season now because winter has finally ended up here. Well, maybe not for Johnny. He might still have a couple feet of snow.
It was a beautiful day today. I actually cleaned a lot of the winter off of the house this afternoon.
Yeah, I
Clean
able
the
to open my
winter.
windows.
Oh, I haven't started them, but boy.
It's like I said, we got a lot of field stuff to go to. We got a lot of field trip stuff, and I'm going to take a lot of footage from the Institute of Lake Superior Geology's annual meeting this year, since I had to pay for that. So hopefully there'll be a lot more videos coming, and maybe even some field lives. Because I don't know, Johnny, I don't know if you saw it when I was live. I was in the UP and I was on some mountain and I actually got signal. So me and Sarah did a live while we were up there, and it was like, I think it was last weekend of January. I couldn't believe we were getting signal up there. So I did a quick field geology live. I don't think you were on that. I don't think you saw that one.
Silence.
Hello, Hans P. P.S.
Oh, I did stop talking, by the way.
Said, remember one guy that said he was a programming expert and was a creationist? I showed him a genetic algorithm and asked what was wrong about it, and he pointed to a part that simulated sexual reproduction.
That was Hans.
Well, guys, I'm going to get off here.
Okay.
And go get back to real life, I guess. But it was really good to meet you, They. It's good to talk to you.
It was good to meet you too, Mrs. Snarky. I've actually, I'm beginning to get a little bit more involved in the small channel scene, and I will be around. Chances are likely if you don't see me, don't assume that I am not there.
But we know you're always there. We know that.
Yeah, they are always watching us.
You bet your ass.
I hope you can find the time to do all the stuff you want to do with your video channels. I don't do the activism thing. I like to do the science thing. And, I actually write papers, like scientific papers. In case anyone sits there and tells you writing a scientific paper is you have to be in with them, and you have to, you have to have like 30 years of college. I'm living proof that's not true. I only have a bachelor's degree, but I do have a professional license. And I'm published in scientific journals. You just got to know your shit. That's all.
See, the reason that I do what I do is so that you can take your job seriously and don't have to worry about the crap.
And thank you, Johnny. And that's why I'm always ready to help you if you ask, if I can, It's a stupid shill job of mine. God.
Hey, every shill makes a difference.
It does. It does.
The thing is, though, I already know what you're talking about, Stephen, because I have several friends of mine that do write. One of my friends, who is actually going to be the voice of Agent 42, is he is a PhD physicist.
Nice. It's not the guy from PBS Space Time, is it?
No. This guy is a trip. Once you hear his voice and the way that he's able to animate himself, I'm going to utilize him to help get me some interest in my channel because he is funny. But he is a trip. You'll get to see him eventually in the Adventures of Agent 42. And he's not the only one. I know several people that write and do things, and I know as well as I can what you're up against and what you have to do, basically, in the knowing what you're talking about to be able to write papers. And the truth of the matter is as well as I understand it, is being able to pass peer review is the most important part. Is that a correct assumption?
It is. It's extremely difficult. And I'm actually the papers I write, there's not too many of us that actually do the type of stuff I do. There's maybe, Precambrian stratigraphic classification of sedimentary rocks. There's not too many people in that field here. And I know most of them, and it sucks because whenever I submit a paper, they just come at me like hammer and just pound me into the ground. And then I got to go look at them all every May. So, but, and I'm also not in academia, so that also makes it harder, but it is possible to get it done. You just got to bust your ass to do it. That's all.
Well, then props to you for doing it.
Yeah.
Thanks. I might actually have an old professor that helps me. That helps too. But, yeah, he actually co-authored. I had no help with the first one except a couple people I used to work with. But the second one, he actually helped me on. And they tore him apart too. And he knows more about this stuff than they do on their own. Not as a group, but on their own. So, yeah. I mean, it's not a kind process, and you got to have thick skin to go through it. If you're one of those people who just can't take criticism, then, yeah, you're just never going to get anything published in peer review. It's just not going to happen.
I got to be honest with you, Steve. We know you're talking bullshit right now, because if you're a paid shill and you're disseminating the correct information, your paper will not even be reviewed. It will just be passed through as long as as long as you are promoting scientism and evolutionism. It's going right through.
God, those two words are so stupid. I wish this last one year.
Yeah.
I actually want to do a video where I put together the process and show the comments. Of course, I'll have to keep the reviewers' names out. And the journal is closed. It's not open. So I can't, I can't just throw everything out there. But I do want to do a video showing you how painstaking the process is and how much they hit you in the head with a hammer. I mean, it starts with the big things first, and then they get down to the grammatical stuff. And I've never been a very good writer. Math, science is easy. English is not for me. I have a hard time writing. And, yeah, I actually feel worse when they do that, when they take apart my grammar, than I do on the bigger concepts. Oh, yeah, and I'm a paid shill, and I don't have to do anything. Yes.
I'm just here for the entertainment.
I don't know where they is, Johnny, but you and I, it's almost oh crap, nothing in this place is except I have a 24-hour analog clock there that actually it doesn't go around twice and then go 12, 13, 14. It actually is divided.
It has 24 digits on it.
Yes.
Cool.
But what? It's about 10 to 9, I think, for you and I, Johnny.
Yep, something like that. That clock proves flat Earth,
Yeah, the sun moved across my area a little later. I will give the people that are still viewing now a one little tiny Easter egg. They lives in Arizona.
I actually knew that, but I didn't want to say anything without you. Like me, I dox myself all the time. Crap, I wouldn't be surprised if half y'all have my address just because I'm stupid like that. But
I do.
I don't do it to other people.
Oh, well, yeah, the truth is that I am going to maintain anonymity on this channel. But if I do start my atheism, activism type sister channel, I will probably go in front of the camera. So everybody will get a look at that knows that it's my other channel.
Don't forget to put your human mask on first.
Fuck. Oh, yeah. Good point.
Boy, that would really be embarrassing.
Right?
How many of you, have either of you guys watched Weird Al's video, the one with the tin foil?
Yes.
I love that.
Oh, yeah. I suppose I gotta get something to eat here too pretty soon. Wow, it is 8 minutes till 9. So
yeah, I think it's about time because I got to get up early, go to work. So
next Tuesday, by the way, I'm gonna have Purple Dan. I talked to him just a while ago, and he's gonna be on. So that should be kind of fun. It'll be Tuesday because Prophet of Zod and Cirrus are going to be on next Monday night at 7. And then Tuesday, I'm doing another show because we talked to Purple Dan. And it's like, I wanted to do something with him and you. And I decided that I'm going to have him on too. So,
yeah, if you want to, you mean tomorrow, Tuesday?
No. 1 week from today.
Okay.
Or tomorrow, 1 week from tomorrow.
Tuesday or Monday. I don't even know.
It's Monday.
Yeah. Okay. So, yeah, if you want to do it next Tuesday, I'll be in there. I haven't talked to him in a while. He kind of fell off the radar too.
Yeah, he hasn't done anything for a while.
It was summer there, and he was all whining while we're all freezing. He was all like, "I'm hot." I'm like, "Damn it! It's -10 out where I
am." But anyway, I'd like to thank they and Steven and everybody else that was co-hosting here. And thank you everybody for showing up here. I really appreciate it. This is a fun little show here.
Yeah, thanks, Johnny.
Do you got anything else to say before we shut her down here?
No, just have a good night, everyone, and subscribe to they because he's awesome.
Yep.
Thank you. I just want to say thanks for having me, Johnny. This was a lot of fun.
Yeah, I'm glad I got you. Broke your cherry on the first stream here.
Yep, this is my first stream.
Awesome. All right. Thank you, everybody.
Good night.